Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Caruso and this is Beyond the Field. I wanted to focus my research of the presentation on the course concepts regarding activism in the National Football League. More than entertainers, several NFL football players make use of their fame and platform by engaging in activism on and off the field. My presentation revolves around answering the questions: how do American football players engage in activism to support movements such as Black Lives Matter? Has their activism been effective in stimulating change within the realm of social and racial injustices? Now I would like to present to you a clip regarding Inspire Change.
Football is a microcosm of America. All races, religions, living, playing, competing side by side. I pray we dedicate ourselves to be the best team we can be. Let's choose to be for one another, to fulfill the promise of one nation, to be part of the solution, be part of the change, to try harder, show up, dive in, and stay at it.
Oh, can we touch for a second? Be us for a second. No matter what I give it to, my love looks better on you.
To start off my presentation, I wanted to allude to the class reading from The Atlantic called They Took a Knee. In this article, Megan Garber quotes the words of former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who has recently been at the forefront of political criticism for taking a knee during the national anthem as he publicly displays his discomfort with issues regarding police brutality and social injustice against people of color in America. Kaepernick has explained that I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses Black people and people of color. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. Alongside Kaepernick, his own teammates, including Eric Reid and Ellie Harold, began to protest the urge for the reformation of policing and to fight for social justice. Following the protest of the 49ers, other NFL teams and high school football teams also began to take a knee during the national anthem. Soon after, former President Donald Trump would bluntly criticize Kaepernick for what he regarded as disrespecting the American flag. He then jokingly mentioned the reality TV catchphrase, "He's fired." The act of protesting human rights in televised American football continues to be stigmatized. And here I present to you a quote from Donald Trump, where he tweeted, "The NFL players are at it again, taking a knee when they should be standing proudly for the national anthem. Numerous players from different teams wanted to show their outrage at something that most of them are unable to define. They make a fortune doing what they love." Despite this, Tom Pelissero, a reporter for NFL Network, tweeted in July 2020 that the NFL has amplified its social justice initiatives through helmet decals and signage in end zones for kickoff games and club openers. Through the Say Their Names activism, several football players would wear and honor the names of victims of police brutality and systemic racism, such as George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, and countless others. The end zones would display signage that read, "It takes all of us," and "End racism." These efforts followed the global uprising protests after the death of George Floyd, who was unjustly murdered by a police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota, after a store clerk had accused him of using counterfeit cash. Police officers continue to take advantage of their power through murder, unconsented search, and coercion and interrogation of racially targeted people of color. In response to supporting efforts to end social injustice and police brutality, the NFL has formed the Social Justice Initiative in 2017 and joined the Players Coalition, which was founded in 2017. According to an article from the NFL News, the NFL has reached over $95 million in contributions to further advance social justice through their social justice initiative called Inspire Change. The Football League has funded programs that are focused on education, economic advancement, police and community relations, and criminal justice reform. The successful league has utilized their platform to inspire change and encourage unity within communities in the US. Moreover, the NFL has committed $250 million over a 10-year period to combat systemic racism against African Americans. The league has supported nonprofit organizations through grants such as the Boys and Girls Club of America, which will use the funding to educate thousands of teenagers about culture, history, and customs, and it encourages them to become advocates for social justice. The U.S. Dream Academy will also make use of its funds from the NFL by providing assistance and mentorship to mostly Black and Latino children of parents who have recently been incarcerated due to racial bias. And here I present to you images from the Boys and Girls Club of America. According to another article, the Players Coalition has supported social justice efforts through their letter to Attorney General William Barr and FBI Director Christopher Wray, which requested federal investigation into the death of Ahmaud Arbery on February 23rd in Georgia. Arbery was murdered by two white men, Travis and Greg McMichael, who were driven by the motives of racial anger. NFL stars such as Tom Brady, Steve Kerr, and the co-founders of the Players Coalition, Anquan Boldin and Malcolm Jenkins, signed the letter to be delivered to authorities with the goal of restoring community trust in police officers. The Players Coalition was founded in 2017. Its goals are to raise awareness surrounding police brutality and racial bias through education, and it urges a reform in the criminal justice system. This coalition was inspired by Kaepernick's Take a Knee movement and the concern for the futures of African Americans. Other leagues, such as the NBA and MLB, have also joined the Players Coalition. Basketball stars such as LeBron James and Steph Curry have voiced their concerns regarding Black Lives Matter movements and the recurring unjust murders of people of color. Here is another clip that presents to you some of the inspiration behind the Players Coalition.
Yeah, I'll never forget that night. I was still playing with the 49ers, and my wife walks up after the game. They told me that my cousin Corey had been killed. Corey broke down on the side of the road, and a plainclothes police officer pulled up. Then this guy starts screaming. All you hear from there is 3 shots.
Why is my son gone today? Why?
He would give you his shirt. He would be cold just to keep you warm.
This officer was in plain clothes. Corey had no way of knowing who he was.
There's just some things that are bigger than football. And I felt like starting the Players Coalition and affecting change in this country was one of those things. We focused on police community relations, education and economic advancement, and criminal justice reform. Had it not been for the work that we do, Corey's death would have been in vain. The best way to inspire change is to be it.
Similar to the Take a Knee movement, the NFL's Los Angeles Rams participated in a hands up, don't shoot pose before entering the football field in response to the murder of an 18-year-old Michael Brown in August 2014. Their activism enraged several police officers as civilians began to copy their poses in protest and riots in response to the Ferguson case, where a police officer, Darren Wilson, had shot Michael Brown, who was unarmed. To conclude, Instances of police brutality related to racial bias and systemic racism continue to occur within the US. Due to this, players in the NFL have used their platform to support causes for a criminal justice reform, to inspire change, and to establish trust between communities and the police. Following Kaepernick's Take a Knee movement, he was one of the football players who inspired the NFL to found organizations such as the Social Justice Initiative and Players Coalition, which educate the public about the recurring issues of systemic racism in the United States, and they assist people, including young children, through funding to nonprofit organizations. More than just football players, many are activists who wish to inspire change and who actively engage in charitable causes to help the greater good. And here I present to you an image: while the season is over, our fight for social justice is not. Thank you for watching my presentation.